こんにちは、皆さん、Gitsapaloozaにようこそ。
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gitsapalooza. This is my Adepticon wrap-up video. Of course, that's kind of ironic because Adepticon didn't actually happen. However, so many people were involved in almost making Adepticon happen, and I think it would have been a really strong success. I was calm and collected, and the reason I was so calm and collected going into this is that I had so much help. And I wanted to make a video to publicly thank everybody. I will try to keep my chatter to a minimum so we can get through this list as quickly as possible. For the businesses and things of that nature that supported me, I will make sure that I post. Basically, I'm going to be using a list that I made on my computer, so if you see me go to the right, it's not because I don't remember everybody. I just want to make sure that I make sure I talk about everyone and don't forget anyone. And the list is long enough that I'm going to have to scroll at least once. So anyway, without further ado, let's get rolling, and let me talk about the people who really contributed a lot to what would have been your tournament at Adepticon, the first American Grand Masters tournament. So first of all, and this is going to sound stupid or self-serving, but it's not. My wife, Kim, none of this happens without her really supporting me tremendously running into this. I mean, I've been working on this tournament for 6 months and probably in earnest for about 3 months. And during that time, Kim has supported me. She's let me put off projects on the house that need to be done. She's taken up the majority of the housekeeping chores that I usually share because I've been locked up in this room getting everything ready. She's always supported my gaming career, even though she doesn't game. She's been understanding. So nothing happens without the love and support of my wife. So thank you, sweetie. All right, next, GCT. So of course, GCT makes Bushido, and this doesn't happen without them, not because they're interfering. They've actually been really hands-off when it comes to how I want to run the tournament, but they have given me all the help I've asked for. And they, like last year, if you were at the tournament last year, you know there was tremendous prize support for everyone in the tournament, not just the winners. And they were going to do the same thing this year. So the support that they provide, and you know they come all the way over here from the UK, that is not cheap. And you know, with everything they probably sell from their booth, I don't know how much that really even offsets their travel costs. So we really appreciate it when they show up. It's kind of like rock stars walking into the hall because we have a million questions. I'd especially like to thank Gordon Cunningham. Gordon's one of the owners of GCT, and he is been fantastic. He's, you know, GCT doesn't have any full-time employees. So when you get something that's a little miscast or you're missing a card or whatever and you want to scream at somebody, just keep in mind that while they certainly have employees, they don't have any full-time employees. So you might cut them a little bit of a break and ask nicely when you have a problem, and maybe remind them a week later if they don't get back to you, because they're doing the best they can with kind of a, you know, it's a small business. So anyway, they have been fantastic to work with. They've been really supportive, and I couldn't ask for a better liaison with GCT than Gordon. He's been terrific. So thank you, Gordon. Also from GCT, Jason Enos. Jason is one of the rules gods, and you see him a lot on the Facebook page. He posts a lot on there, and Jason was tremendously helpful in figuring out what scenarios that we're going to do and all the little niggling details of how to run the tournament appropriately, but especially with scenarios. And you know, part of how easily they let me do things is, you know, that there's one scenario in the tournament that wasn't even on their list. That's something I came up with. And then Jason kind of fiddled with it and made it acceptable. And then I made another change at the last minute, and Jason was going to fiddle with it and make it acceptable again. So and I've gone to Jason over and over again to answer rules questions. You guys have come to me with good rules questions, and you guys know me. If there's a rule, I will figure out a way to screw it up. And I keep pointing out that the title TO stands for Tournament Organizer. There's no, I'm not an RE, which would be a rules expert. I can organize a tournament, but for your own sake, don't ask me to interpret the rules because I'm going to screw them up. So Jason did that a lot. So again, to be able to work with one of the game designers in a game that I love is just, it's kind of flooring. I've never done that before, so we're really lucky. I'm really lucky to have that kind of support, and I think as a community, we're really lucky to have that connection with the folks that make the game. So Jason, thanks. GCT, thanks. You guys are awesome. Who's next? Great. Another major player that you guys don't see at all is Adepticon. And I have my liaison to Adepticon is Matthias Weeks, or Matt. I've been working with Matt for a couple years now, ever since the tournament last year. Matt's terrific. I've been on him for 6 months about, what I'm going to do. When do I sign up? I want to make sure I don't miss it. I want to get, how many people do we have in the tournament? Can I expand it? All that kind of stuff. And Matt just rolls with it. He takes it and rolls with it, makes things happen, reassures me when I start to panic. If I need to update the event description, or I need to add rules or new rule sets or anything like that, I just get a hold of Matt and he takes care of it. And a buddy of mine runs another event that's really cool. And he works with Matt too. So I don't know if Matt works with everybody, but boy, he gets back to me fast and he's terrific. So many thanks to Adepticon for making this easy. I mean, I don't have to deal with money. In case you guys wonder, Adepticon figures out what to do with the money. They charge what they want. I never see any money at all. It's just the money compensates them for whatever organizational time, the space that they have to rent, and the medals they provide. And that's really cool. I mean, we had 6 medals lined up. We had first, second, third, best painted. I can't even remember what they were. We had as many medals as any major tournament would have, and it's fantastic. Or medals, whatever they do in any given year. So if you're thinking about running something at Adepticon and you're a little intimidated by it, don't be. I can give you Matt's contact information and he will make it as easy as possible. He's terrific. Next, Multi-Zone Comics and Games. So Multi-Zone is a comic and games store near Ottawa, up in Ontario, Canada. And, not Ontario, Quebec, Canada. And Dylan is the owner. Dylan Montgomery is the owner of Multi-Zone. And early on, Dylan said that he'd put together 8 complete tables. And that's as many as I'm putting together. That's a lot. That's 8 boards, enough terrain for 8 boards, and 88 objectives. Because each board would need 11 different objectives in order to do the scenarios that we had planned this year. And he was right on target. He was they were ready or almost ready at the time Adepticon got canceled. The scale that we were looking at, 40 players, I think would be one of the biggest Bushido tournaments in the world. And that doesn't happen unless I get help, because I can't do 20 boards. I just can't. I've got 8. I've got plans to make a 9th, but I just can't. I can't do it. I can't afford to do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the place to put all that stuff. So Dylan coming through and making commitment and then following up on that commitment and coming through is invaluable. Tournament wouldn't happen without him. So Multi-Zone Comics and Games, they are an online retailer, Bushido. You don't have to be up in Canada to order from them. They were a huge supporter of the Adepticon Grand Masters this year. So if you're looking for an online source and you're in especially northern North America, you might want to check them out. Who's next? What do I got? Splintered Brush Studio. So that's a painting studio that's run by Jason Gabalt. I know you've seen Jason's posts probably if you're on any of the Bushido Facebook pages. If you're not on Bushido Facebook pages, even if you don't, like I never use my own Facebook page. It's just there as a marker. But I'm really active on the Bushido Facebook pages because they're wonderful. You can ask rules questions, you can post your stuff, you can get all kinds of cool ideas, show off your painting, whatever you want. They're really useful. So Jason's a professional painter, and he offered to put together prizes for us to help with prize support. And I must admit, we had an embarrassment of prize support between what GCT was providing and what Jason was providing. And he kept asking, do you need more? You know, is there, and the medals from Adepticon, I mean, we were loaded. But Jason's stuff was really cool because Jason was building a couple of display boards. So, you know, that's really handy. So that they were going to go to, I think, Sad Panda, which is the last place. And they were going to go to, what is it? Best, shoot. Where is it? Sportsmanship. Sorry, Sportsmanship and Sad Panda. But display boards for Bushido is cool. It's not something everybody does. I will tell you that a display board in a painting competition will earn you extra points from the judge, or at least any judge that is, you know, helping us. So that was really cool. So thanks, Jason. If you are in need of getting some of your models painted, you get a new faction and you're just overwhelmed, Jason is a good person to go to, so you can check him out as well. I'll leave links to everybody in a post that will follow this video. Let me see. What's next? Oh, Mastercrafted Miniatures. So you've heard me, I've done videos about Ben Calvert-Lee's stuff, Mastercrafted Miniatures. He makes all kinds of really cool terrain and bits, and he makes rice bale barricades and Garintos and little animals, all kinds of stuff. So I'm a big fan. There's no way I hit my mark of 8 tables without Ben's help. Some of which I purchased, just like the rest of you guys. The zone of control rings, for example, were really saved me some time near the end, where I might have otherwise been panicking. I just had 3 sets of zones of control, the rings, and I was like, I'm done. But the other thing Ben did is he gave me a lot of miscasts, things you can't sell but are not total wrecks, and he just sent them to me along with my orders because he knew I needed, you know, to somehow make my 88 objectives, and I was able to clean them up and repair them, whatever needed to be done, and then use them to fill out my objective sets, and they were fantastic. So thanks, Ben. You really made my life easier when it came to getting all those objectives done, and boy, I appreciate it. Now I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to scroll because there are so many people that helped. All right, where am I? There I am. Okay, onward. So another one you guys didn't know about ahead of time, but I'll tell you now. I kind of messed up, and I thought I had Best Painted covered, and I didn't. So at the last minute, I contacted our local store, which is also an online Bushido retailer here in Madison, Wisconsin, and that is Noble Knight Games. And Jessica Carrier is the floor manager there. She loves Bushido. She doesn't play it. She just thinks it looks awesome and has been nothing but supportive. You know, when we are able to go and have a game night down there, we have a little sign that says Bushido we can put up on the table. Jess always invites us to do demos when they have a big demo day or they have some special celebration. She always personally, you know, invites us to make sure that Bushido is represented if we can swing it. And Noble Knight picked up the baton, and I contacted her last week and said, Jess, I don't have a Best Painted prize. And she got together with the group, and Noble Knight agreed to do it, and then they put together a nice prize package. So even though you didn't get it, I just want you to know that that in a pinch, at the last minute, Noble Knight came through and Jess came through. So Jess, if you're seeing this, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, and you know, maybe we can swing something next year too. What do we have? Oh, your speaking of painting prizes, your judge would have been the same as last year, and that is a friend of mine, Andrew Mayer, who's the owner of Rolling All Ones, which is another painting service. Andrew's painted a bunch of my big models, big 40K stuff, like my Knights and things like that. He's very good, and he is willing to judge, which is kind of cool. I've watched him teach painting before, and I'm like, man, I don't paint like that. And then I look at what he does and I go, man, I don't paint like that. So anyway, Andrew, for being willing to throw yourself at a 40-person tournament list and do the judging solo, that's real helpful. So thank you. Let me see. Oh, another thing you guys don't know behind the scenes is in general, I do the tournament myself. And that's a lot, when you get around 40 people or 30 some people, it's a lot to handle by yourself. My wife was going to help out by doing all the books and data entry, which is wonderful help. And then I, fairly late in the game, got an emergency backup TO because thankfully it didn't work out, but there was a possibility that I was going to have a conflict that I just couldn't. There's no way I could change it. And I had no way to determine whether it was going to happen or not. And I needed somebody to run the tournament if I wasn't able to be there. And Josh Holder, who is a friend of mine, local guy, was going to play in the tournament, but he couldn't. He's a really good painter too, but he couldn't figure out what list he wanted, and he got kind of frustrated. And he was like, if only I could help you run the tournament. And I'm like, Josh, man, yes. So that'd be great. And luckily, he would have been my backup and would have been helping me at the tournament anyway. So this time, maybe I'll run him through some local tournaments and just kind of get him comfortable. I mean, he's an adult. He's going to roll with this no matter what. But yeah, we'll get him rocking so that next year he can assume some responsibility and help me out if need be. Or if he wants to play, that's cool too. Thanks, Josh. I'm good either way. Okay, so lastly, I have a short list. And I call this the Stop Me Before I Kill Again gang. And so these guys are the people who talked me off the ledge or corrected me when I said something stupid about the rules that was blatantly wrong, or who I consulted before I said something stupid about the rules that was basically wrong. And there's actually more than this, but these are the guys that jumped to mind. And when I looked at at my Facebook messaging, these all popped up near the top because I talked to them quite a bit. Oh, wait, I forgot one. Dang it, where'd he go? Before we get to that, dang it, that's why I was, sorry, that must have been scary. That's why I was looking over here. So somebody else I want to single out is your current North American Master of Bushido. And that's Carl Turbide. Carl's from up in Canada, like the rest of the guys. And Carl put together 3 complete tables. And so the Canadian contingent of Bushido was big. They came through big time for an event that is a hell of a long way away from them. So, Carl, that's 3 boards. It's enough terrain for 3 boards and 33 different objectives. So for you guys that have a board and you're trying to struggle to get your single set of objectives, imagine having to crank out 33 of all different sizes and shapes. So Carl, thank you. That was critical. I mean, we needed a minimum of 20. Multi-zone and I had 16 between us. So Carl was filling in the other 3, and then that means I only needed 1, and I had several different people also helping out, bringing a single board, single setup, so that I knew we had enough boards. We even had a little extra in case something happened and we were short. So, and then we go to the Stop Me Before I Kill Again group, because Carl's on that group too. So I've got my friend Tyler Nelson. Tyler's here in Baraboo, which is around the Madison area. You've seen him on my channel a million times. And he's a good friend, and so he's definitely help. And he actually knows the game better than I do. Fazan Zafar is another minion. No, not minion. I can't remember what we're called. But a retainer. There we are. And Fazan is, at least he was in Michigan. Now he's in Milwaukee, but he who knows, he might be going back to Michigan. But he's another good person that I've been talking to, and I think he was bringing an extra board and a good person for me to bounce ideas off of. Ben Calvert-Lee from Mastercrafted Miniatures. I spent a lot of time talking to Ben, bouncing ideas back and forth. So, you know, a lot of these people aren't just supporting the tournament, they're supporting me personally, which I really appreciate. I mentioned Carl already, and Peter Van Ham. Pete's over in Europe, and he runs tournaments over there. So I spent a lot of time talking with Peter about rules and how to run the tournament and all the rest of that. So there are more. If I haven't mentioned you specifically, I apologize. But if I just went on, this video would never end, and you guys know too much anyway. So there we go. At this point, I have no reason to believe that I won't be running next year's Adepticon unless you know, GCT finds somebody better, and I'm cool with that. Then I get to play. But in the meantime, I can run next year if I get the same support, and it'll be a walk in the park. So we'll see how it goes. So far, I think most everybody has said they'd be willing to do it again next year. So I'm sorry this didn't work out, everyone. I think it was the right decision. If you're not here in the States, it's nuts. My wife just went shopping. Luckily, she kind of stocked up on critical stuff before the panic hit. But you can't find paper goods, can't find toilet paper, can't find any kind of disinfectant. You can't find coffee. Oh my, that's like the worst one. It's just the stores are empty. I'm 57 years old and I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. It is just nuts. So you guys stay safe, practice good biosecurity, and hopefully we will see you next year at Adepticon. And if not, I'll see you in the interim on my channel. Thanks, everyone, and thank you for joining me on Gitsapalooza.